place. So it would be just nice to see some faces instead of just black boxes. And I think indeed this is a nice gesture. And then, of course, you can turn it off afterwards. And so we have a history about this next presentations, because we have been working together with Ella and Maryvonne on the STEAM Plus project, which is trying to introduce policy on STEAM education. And then we are working in many countries, and then with many policymakers across Europe to see that whole STEAM education could be part of the curriculum. So we looked at really interesting STEAM innovations yesterday. This morning we were talking about that home research could be included, and then design and STEAM could be included in the research and be integrated. In the afternoon, we looked at the STEAM communities and initiatives all around the world, and we always get to the discussion of policy. But policy is a very difficult topic. So what we try to address with the STEAM project, to raise the awareness among policymakers for STEAM education, and also initiate this discussion. So last year we had a meeting with the European Commission in Vienna about defining what is STEAM education, and we are continuing this in the different places across Europe. We are running STEAM labs, and then we are discussing with ministries of education. And actually tomorrow afternoon, we have a STEAM Austria meeting with the Ministry of Education and then all the higher education institutions in the afternoon to discuss how to integrate STEAM policies into Austria, but it's happening in different countries. So Ella and Maryvonne will talk about our project. And then actually next year, next May, we will organize a STEAM lab in Linz. Before that, there will be some other ones. And then we will invite lots of policymakers across Europe and the European Commission to work with us on these initiatives. So I think this is more than enough. And then I think Ella and Maryvonne will tell us much more about how we can connect STEAM, talents, policies into education. So welcome our speakers, and then we have 50 minutes since we are a bit late. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Zsolt, for the introduction. It was very kind. Welcome to our session. My name is Idsøe. I'm professor in psychology at the University of Oslo in Norway. And I'm partner in this project together with Zsolt and Maryvonne, and I see Carmen is also from Romania joining us. STEAM Plus stands for Innovating STEAM in Higher Education with Transdisciplinary Talent Programs. And in this session, we intend to guide you through the project baseline, through the principles that our project builds on, the reasons for doing this project, our activities and outputs, our partners, and in the end, we spare some time for questions and discussion. So the project baseline. As we all know, Europe faces grand challenges such as climate change and energy transition, and therefore the project, the aim of the project is to provide educational policymakers with instruments to prepare new generations for handling the challenges of our time. And these challenges, they have STEM subject at their core, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, but they need knowledge from all other disciplines, the extra A, in order to create STEAM solutions. We really need to use all brains, hearts, and hands of all talents to tackle these challenges. And we want to achieve this by using the power of transdisciplinary talent programs as laboratories of innovation. Therefore, the project is actually called STEAM+. And we have three main principles. The first is transdisciplinarity. It means we do not start from disciplines, but from societal problems, from big challenges. The second is honors or talent programs. We do not start by existing STEM programs, but we start by using the proven power of talent programs, because honor students are highly competent and motivated students. They are students that enjoy complex challenges, and they are well suited to pilot the transdisciplinary perspectives. And the third principle is the co-creation process, where we bring together researchers, teachers, students, and policymakers to cooperate and create solutions. I feel a little bit the need to explain more the transdisciplinary concept, because maybe it's not so very familiar to everyone. So we all know that we are facing big challenges in the society, which strongly influences both future academic activities and policy measures in all areas of society, right? And transdisciplinarity is the way to understand the present world. If we look at the table here, right? These terms, disciplinary, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, they are used to imply in increasing order different degrees of academic, disciplinary, and synthesis and interaction, right? But the later, however, transdisciplinarity is the only one which goes beyond all disciplines and understands the present world by achieving a unity of knowledge. And this development represents a fundamental challenge for the contemporary academic professions. But let me use an analogy. Let's imagine that each discipline is a fruit. Math is the apple, language is a strawberry, right? And that's disciplinary. We have different disciplines, different fruits. Let's also imagine that we arrange these fruits on a plate. Then we have multidisciplinary. Let's also go further on and make a fruit salad. Then we have the interdisciplinary, right? They are mixed, but we can still see where is the math, where is the influence of the language, where is the influence of the social studies, right? But transdisciplinary, that's the smoothie. We make them, we mix them so much that we make them to something totally new. We come to totally new solutions. Everything is incorporated, and even more, we think about maybe including a little bit of yogurt, and this means we open up for people outside the academic world. We invite stakeholders, policymakers, and regular people to join this transdisciplinary smoothie. And then we get a solution that is perfect, matched with the needs of the users. If you only think about the COVID, right, that's a really big cooperation between researchers, policymakers, the society as a whole, that is needed in order to create solutions. Okay, I will make things short because I could talk a lot about this. But in short words, there are two main interpretations of transdisciplinarity, and the first one is that it's challenge-based approach. It doesn't start from the disciplines; it starts from the problems. And the second one is that it involves the society, right? And now I will invite my colleague Maryvonne to take you further on and explain even more why we are involved in this project and what we intend to do and what impact do we hope we will have. So I think I will stop sharing, and I will join you later for the discussion.
Thank you, Ella. I'm going to share the presentation myself. Okay, so from now I'm taking over. My name is Maryvonne Nieboer, and I'm the national coordinator of the STEAM Plus project in the Netherlands. And I work at the Hanse University of Applied Sciences as a lecturer. Well, Ella introduced the project to you, and she told you a bit about the principles behind this project. And now the question arises, Well, why do we need this project? Well, you see a SWOT analysis that we made of the current situation, and what we see is some strengths. We see on the one hand talented, motivated young people. We see a strong connectivity, for instance, the internet. We see opportunities, international agreements that support transformational learning. There is a demand for transformational learning. But there are also some threats because, well, there is some urgency to work on those grand challenges, those complex challenges that we are facing currently. And we see some weaknesses in most of the European institutions for higher education, because what we see there is this disciplinary structure, as Ella already talked about, those fruits separately from each other, apples in one department and strawberries in the other. And we see that in most cases, education is teacher-driven. So looking at this SWOT analysis, well, what we see is what STEAM Plus can bring is that we can tackle those complex problems with the STEAM Plus approach. And the STEAM Plus approach is in fact learner or talent driven. We co-create together, for instance, with students, the education, and we introduce this transdisciplinary learning. So then we can tackle the problems of the 21st century, we think, with this approach. Okay, sorry, yeah. Okay, what are we going to do in this project? Well, we have several activities planned, and an important one are the innovation labs. We have national meetings and we have policy meetups that we are going to organize. Currently, the partners in the project are organizing policy meetings in their own higher education institutes, but also on national level, for instance, with people from ministries and also people from other institutes of higher education. And we will organize national meetings and policy meetups to share later on in the project, to share what we experienced, what we discovered, and to discuss with them what we can do with all those things that the project brought us. And then a little bit more about the innovation labs, because those are very important activities that we are organizing within this project. And these innovation labs, well, we are going to organize 3 of them, STEAM Plus labs. And these are kind of projects in which all parties work together. And that's what we mean, teachers and students work together on a societal problem. And the first lab is hopefully going to take place this summer in Venice. If COVID-19 lets us, then we will travel over there and work during a week all together, teachers, students, experts, on a problem or an assignment that is given to us by the Venetian municipality, and it's called the Citizen Science for Marine Conservation. So we are looking at the marine conservation in the Venetian lagoon. Well, there will be another lab this year, and that is going to be organized by the colleagues from Lithuania, and it will be an online lab, and it's called Sustainable Sea and City Challenge. And as Zsolt already mentioned in the introduction, there will be a third lab organized in Austria, and the title of that lab is Fun Solutions for Societal Challenges. So these 3 labs will hopefully give us a lot of experience and information about how it works to work in a transdisciplinary way on a societal problem. And hopefully we can share all those experiences with all other people. And then there are 2 main products that we want to deliver with this project. The first one is an innovation lab implementation path, which in fact is an instrument or a guideline that gives you an idea how to establish transdisciplinary talent programs in higher education institutes. And the second product is a menu for policy inspiration. My colleagues already talked about the importance of the policy partners and policy to see the need for transdisciplinarity in education. So it's important to inspire them to support these transdisciplinarity in education. So this manual will be kind of an instrument for policymakers in higher education, but also on other levels, also up until EU level, to support them to recognize the importance of transdisciplinarity in talent programs. Well, and within our project, we have some partners, and those partners are very important for us because they provide us with information and inspiration to execute our work. And we have 18 full partners, and the full partners in higher education institutes you can see on this slide. And we have also 34 associate partners. And our full policy partners are presented over here, and you see that there are some ministries involved. And well, for us, it's important to be able to share with those partners everything that we are doing, and also gather information in our meetings with them to find out what they need, because, well, as we said, it's so important to involve policymakers and to get them enthusiastic about the idea of transdisciplinarity. So we have to involve them in the project, and we are very happy that they have been willing to be full partners in our project. And last but not least, we have an external advisory board, a board of 5 experienced, enthusiastic people that are providing us with very valuable advices. We meet with them on a regular basis, and we try to incorporate all their advices in our project. So, and in the end, we hope that all these partners will help us disseminate everything that we gather within our project, so that well, as many people as possible get information about the need and the possibilities of transdisciplinary education. Well, concluding, why is STEAM Plus so unique? Well, first of all, we are applying a holistic approach, starting with the grand challenges and using international transdisciplinary and educational chain perspectives. Secondly, we use the proven innovative power of transdisciplinary talent programs that we already know. And then lastly, we will or are collaborating transnationally with 18 higher education and policy partners and 34 enthusiastic associate partners to optimize dissemination of results and impact. Well, that's what we wanted to share with you about our project. And now it's time for your questions and first reactions on what we have told you. So feel free to ask questions. I think you could raise your hands. I have a look at the host, Zsolt. What is the best way to do this, to ask questions?
So we can ask question for everyone is writing in the chat. So okay. maybe we can get some feedback. So maybe Musa and Carla, you could say something that's why you think it's promising, and then we just continue the discussion. So please write your questions in the chat, and then we can say something. So maybe Musa, you could say something that's why you think it's a promising initiative, and then Carla, maybe you can say also something for.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, as I have introduced myself in the morning session, I am Musa Simon from the College of Business Education in Tanzania. I'm not coming from the mathematics field, I'm from language and literacy. Yet I can see it very promising and very insightful. I liked it, and I'm saying it's promising because of its heuristic in nature, the way you approach the the stakeholders that you considered, that's the first reason for me. I think it's promising it can work, because as we have alluded to it in the morning, that sometimes you find that the only thing that does not make a certain approach don't work in education is the difference in terms of the perception between perhaps researchers and the policymakers.
So would you like to respond to these comments?
I was just trying to answer somebody in the chat.
As long as you have identified these people, that they are very important, how is going to be possible to. So to me, it shows how possible that is going to be successful, because all the voices are going to be heard and all the possible solutions are going to be suggested. That's one. But the second thing, you see, sometimes one of the mistake that we do in education or research is that we forget that schools are not an island from the social context. So sometimes we focus on things as we are solving problem for schools, forgetting that the education context, these schools are very connected to the community, connected to culture and other things. We can take an example. I think you have mentioned how COVID came. No school solution that could make a school safe unless we have saved also the community around the school. So the way now you are taking it, coming from taking it in both sides, coming to school and going back to the community. So all this makes very interesting and very promising in my perspective. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's good to hear that you think it's promising and that you think it will work.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I see in the chat. Ella. Yes, I see in the chat somebody asks if we are going to, if the honor programs is the only place where we implement these programs, but we are just piloting this with these honor students, because like I said, they are very motivated and they are capable of thinking in a complex way, but we intend to scale it to all students. Actually, I'm not so sure if we haven't thought so far to including the students with learning difficulties, but definitely maybe even into the undergraduate programs, because this our students in Oslo in the honor programs, they say that they wished they have learned about this way of thinking, the transdisciplinary way of thinking, while they were in high school. That would have been then much easier for them when they started the program. So maybe we should really scale it down to undergraduate levels. And yes, are you going to implement mathematically strong case studies?
So Ella,
yes.
we will ask the people in the chat to ask their questions. So I think we are just going one by one.
Yeah, okay, so, good, good.
So you don't have to reply. So we will ask the participants in the chat. It just thing. So I think also what is very important, and we have been discussing in the conference, that the European Commission really wants to have this team initiative from the perspective to integrate it in the schools. And then many of these projects and grants which we are involved in, and then also STEAM Plus is in this initiative. And then it's very difficult to change policy in the countries. And then I think the benefit of this project, that many ministries of education and the European Commission is part of this initiative, to be able to make this kind of step from research to practice to the policy, because then that is usually a difficult step. So until now we were talking about how to do the groundwork, or how to do the kind of initiatives taking over the policies. But now what we try to do with STEAM Plus is more like working together with the policymakers to make some progress. And then probably it will be longer on the long run, but at least we have interest from many places. So Carla, I think you have some comments and questions.
Yeah, so that one from the mathematical strong case studies is from me. Of course, you know me. I teach mathematics, so it's for me. It's it's a very interesting to be able to show students that mathematics is everywhere, and they can apply it, because since forever I feel that the students lack this type of motivation to learn math. They feel that mathematics is kind of a pure science, not applied at all. And I think we need to change this way of thinking. And so these type of projects are a way to promote the critical thinking in them, by also going to these students who have several difficulties, and mathematics is really one of them. And and I believe, and so this is quite a very inspiring and very interesting project. I can congratulate you all for being there, being partners and having thought about it. And I believe that the students, the weaker ones, are the ones who are going to profit the most with this, because the ones that are already anxious to learn, they usually learn everywhere and using the traditional methods and so on, right? But the ones who are, less motivated due to a lot of reasons, we don't have to tell them again, enumerate them again. I think these are the ones that will profit the most from this type of project. So yes, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, what is nice, and that is in addition to what Ella earlier said, is that for example, in Groningen, in the Netherlands, we have a bit of experience with transferring things that we did within honors programs to the regular programs. And we saw that partly this worked very well. And of course, you have to think about how to do this, but I think there are a lot of chances to do it, and also incorporate all those students that are, well, not part of honors programs, maybe the weaker students, as you said, to incorporate them also in these kind of projects and these kind of initiatives, because they will benefit absolutely. And it's very nice if you can see within these projects how mathematics, for people that are not from mathematics, to see what kind of contribution mathematics can have for societal problems. That is very interesting for other students from other disciplines, I think. Yeah, thank you so much.
And you can start by telling them that it was mathematical modeling who allowed nowadays a lot of people, stakeholders and health policy makers, to decide certain measures with respect to COVID-19 pandemic. So
yeah.
There's mathematics behind the scenes.
Yes, it is, but we don't realize. If you're not from that field, I'm not from that field, but we often do not realize the importance. And it's very, very nice if we can show that within these kind of projects. Yeah.
So congratulations again.
Thank you.
Looking forward.
So Valentina, do you want to say something, or?
Actually, thank you very much for your talk, for your results. Great connection between each other. When I saw the whole list of many ministries and other institutions that are connected, that is great. Actually, in Ukraine, there is a conception posted in 2020 about applying STEAM education to all the branches of education system. So probably you can spread your connection for more Eastern Europe, not West Europe. That would be great.
Yes, thank you.
I think we have. I think we have Lithuania in one of the partners of the project. So.
Yeah, Lithuania, but Lithuania it's more west than Ukraine. Let me say.
Yeah. So we can involve you.
Yeah,
Great.
and Lithuania, it's pretty cool. I saw the results in Portuguese at the conference, even students, great results.
Excellent. Alla, would you like to ask your question?
Ella?
Yes.
Alla?
Comes in the room again.
Uh,
Oh, Allah is not in the room. Okay.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So, Irina, did you get your response?
Here's our.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
Okay, excellent. Very good.
Maybe we could answer the question of Alla, because the question of Alla is in the chat, and she asked where she can find more information. And our last slide. So at the end of our session, we will show you the last slide, and there our website is presented, and you can subscribe for a newsletter, so you can get all the new information from us on a regular basis. So we provide you with some details at the end of this session.
Anne-Marie, would you like to ask your question, or?
Yes, I was just curious if it was outside the EU, because one of the things I noticed is something like transdisciplinary doesn't come up in the United States so much. It's not a philosophy, so to speak. Even STEAM is prominent, but it's not as prominent as STEM. And I think those in the US would really benefit from an outside the box approach like transdisciplinary. I thought it was really cool. So I was wondering if you would just bring it across the ocean.
Well, what we know is that the European Union really puts some demands on the educational system in the EU countries, and that is transdisciplinarity is one of them. So maybe this is why it is now a more focus on this perspective. This is related to an earlier question about how to convince the politicians, and we know that what politicians want and like are success stories. So we will also try to present on our website some projects that were really successful in other institutions in Europe. Maybe, yeah. Because this is what they like, and if they see something that they like, maybe they consider to take a step to action. Maybe, yes.
So the EU is really moving to the STEAM direction to promote creativity and innovation, and I think since then there is most of the projects is beyond STEM now, so it's more STEAM project. So I think this will be the trend, and then it will go to policy as well in the individual countries as well. And then of course you are very welcome to take our initiatives. And actually in Asia there is a huge STEAM movement in Korea and Taiwan and China. So and then there is this kind of creativity and innovation. So Felix and Marta, maybe you want to say something about your project because it's really interesting. And then afterwards, Pia can ask or comment for this. So Felix and Marta, do you want to say something?
Well, it was actually just a reaction on Anne-Marie's question. And it's not about the big policy perspective, really. It's just that we are actually planning this pilot study from the next school year in the United States, which is then a part of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's Grand Challenge, Balance the Equation. And they are, yeah, it's not policy, so to speak, but it is about scaling up a STEAM-oriented approach, to the United States in general. So this might be one of the first steps maybe into this direction. And it's just a single project, but we're not the only ones. It's actually up to 10 projects probably. And well, we'll see how the reactions will be.
I think it's very important that everyone is attacking the same problem from a many different perspective. So then that is great. So Pia, you had some comments.
All I wanted to say was really, you know, I'm a teacher, but I'm not a math teacher. And to be honest, I don't know anything about my colleagues, what they are actually doing in their field. And I think it's about time that we have, as some of you said, had a holistic approach, you know, and do things together and connect us teachers more. And by working on one project together, I mean, this is about time that we did that. You know, like not just teachers, we are all lone fighters, each one of us. But by looking at this project, I can see a future where we actually work together on various projects and then hopefully have better results. And and I think that's a great project. I'm fascinated.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Go for it.
What is even more nice is that there are journals now that publish transdisciplinary research, because until a few years ago they were non-existing, and we hope there will be even more some financial organizations that would give financial supply for this kind of projects. And I agree with you. But it takes a little bit in order to create such a transdisciplinary group, right? Because some people and in some disciplines, they have their own methods that are just like this. And in order to accept and to merge and accept that other methods are also reliable, there will be some friction there. I see it for myself, right? And it's normal and it's natural. But the idea is that everybody should find we will find a common way to succeed.
I'm very much aware of that, you know. I think particularly as older teachers, we are in this structure, you know, we are stuck in this the way we have always taught. But I think it's particularly with younger students at the university, we should start to train our future teachers to look at it, look at teaching from a different angle. And yes, and I think that's very good thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think Carla and Irina wrote lots of comments. So maybe you can say something if you want. You are fine, Irina?
Yes. Okay. So I'm a very strong supporter of interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, but I'm going to play devil's advocate and just say that if we look at the traditional environment, we start more or less interdisciplinary or even sometimes transdisciplinary at elementary school, and then we get into more and more specialized education, right? And then now we're looking at that doesn't work very well. However, we all understand that in order to do anything transdisciplinary, there needs to be some base. There needs to be some strong content knowledge in specific disciplines. So question is, where do we start? But where do we finish with in-depth content? Do we teach in-depth content before we go into transdisciplinary? Do we teach in-depth content through transdisciplinary approach? Or where is that borderline? Where, you know, it's not enough to really go in that kind of projects and solve societal problems in a holistic way, or where it is we just went too far and too narrow, and our specialists nowadays, we have to retrain them every time we shift a little bit. Very nice
questions, actually. where is the line, and what should we start with first? I think it is absolutely necessary that you have a good ground content knowledge in one discipline, and then start with transdisciplinarity. But this is my opinion. But also, like I said, you also have to have the right personality somehow in order to accept and to be open up, because I think we will still need very specialized people in mathematics, in chemistry. Not everybody can be a transdisciplinarian. Let's say it like this. Not everybody has the ability to accept different perspectives and to take them in and see the problems in a complex person. Not everybody is like this, and they should coexist, both the very specialized people and also the transdisciplinary people. My opinion. But the way of thinking and the way, and it is in every country, I think it's moving, right? Taking in NGOs and organizations outside the school into the school and having projects together in the local community. This is already an opening towards the transdisciplinary thinking. So it's, yeah, yes.
So I think when we will have our project, so what we do is trying to solve real problems, and then also the labs will demonstrate this kind of new way of project-based learning and teaching. So I think we try to go in this way. So I think until now you have seen some of the theories and then the ideas, but I think soon we will have much more data, and then also much more development or designing the problems. And I think it will be interesting for you. And I think Mara had some comments and contributions. So Mara, maybe you would like to say something.
Yes, I'll be happy to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I have some experience with transdisciplinary work, and currently I'm actually working on a team of transdisciplinary nature, where we really learned that good communication is essential. So we have to pay attention to specialized knowledge, but also transdisciplinarity brings the real world into a focus. So one of the things that we have done at my university is identifying good projects that can kind of go across the disciplines, and role-playing with teachers, different approaches from different disciplines. So I'm excited to hear about this, and I hope we'll continue to talk more about transdisciplinary look, because it took a while for people to realize when we say STEM or STEAM, we are not talking about individual disciplines. We're talking about, I will just say, a specific construct that's keeping in mind all these disciplines. And it goes beyond, because we are not listing language and communication, some other things that are also essential for successful transdisciplinary project in STEAM. So looking forward to hear more.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, like Maryvonne mentioned, we have in each of these European countries, we will have like 3 workshops with policymakers, and where the policymakers will tell both about their challenges in each country and opportunities. So it will be a really contextual and cultural print from all these countries, and we will have this together in this instrument for the policymakers. So it's really exciting, because I think it will really, so please follow us, please go on our website and follow our progress. It would be interesting. And also the labs, they can generate actually new pedagogies and new ways of interacting between students and teachers, and what will be created there from so many different disciplines and so many, it will be amazing. It will be an amazing experience. I'm really looking forward to it.
Excellent. Carmen, I think you had some comments.
Yes, I already wrote these my comments in the chat. But I am professor in Romania, in Iași, at Faculty of Psychology and Educational Sciences. And actually I teach curriculum and also subjects of transdisciplinarity. And I think it's very difficult to change the meaning of transdisciplinarity. Because most of people have a traditional meaning of this concept, or the real transdisciplinary, which is now the approach of this new concept, is very now very promoted now and very encouraged now, and it's very difficult for all the teachers to feel this meaning and to encourage this thing. This is one of the threats of our project. I forgot to say that I am a member also of this project. And also another threat is the conservatories in universities. Also at the level of management of universities, not only at the national or international scale, but also at local scale. And I think these STEAM plus laboratories, which are organized very difficult and with a lot of efforts, could be a very good example of international labs. And I think if we will dare to organize international transdisciplinary labs with people who are very motivated teachers and students, like honors students and honors teachers, I think we can offer an image about our meaning of transdisciplinarity and co-creation and going beyond the traditional knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much. And
welcome.
I think we have two more comments. So Shia, Han, maybe you can say something, and then afterwards Felix and Martin, then I think we need to conclude the session because it was a very long day for many of us. So Xian, would you like to say something? No? Okay, so I think then there is a comment. So maybe Felix and Marta, if you can.
Yes, I also wrote it in the chat again, but I think it is really a lot about the order of how students are introduced to topics, because they are living in a world which is very complex, and they expect they expect to be taken care of in their development as to become proficient in dealing with this complexity. And what they get at schools mostly is like a very overstructured, non-real way of artificial experiences that doesn't match their expectations, but even worse than that, it demotivates actually all their motivation. So they, even if they were motivated to deal with some problems, they don't even find them back in the ways they are taught, for instance, a subject like mathematics at schools. And so our approach is really to start with holistic experiences and to always start transdisciplinary in the ways we present topics, and then to specialize it into what math can contribute to understanding it, what some certain aspects of arts can contribute to deal with it, what language is important to understand it and to communicate about it, and all these aspects that real problems actually combine. Of course, this is demanding, but I totally agree that it's about time to start with this.
And do you see that this helps students to become more motivated?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is really,
can imagine.
Yes, this is an absolute yes.
Okay, great.
Thank
Great
you.
to hear.
Thank you. If I'm not wrong, I think it's Finland that just gave up all the curriculum and they renewed it, and they have a challenge-based approach on their curriculum. So they start from, it's a problem-based curriculum. They start from the problems, and then they identify the disciplines that are involved in solving the problem. It's really interesting if you search on the internet for their curriculum. It's yeah, it's in this direction that we are going to.
Yeah,
actually.
I think it's in progress in Finland, so I think they are transitioning to this approach. But I think it's very similar what is happening in Korea and Taiwan too, which is a very interesting approach. So I think we need to conclude the session, and thank you very much, Ella and Maryvonne and Carmen, and all of you who contributed. So I think it was very valuable. And then also we covered many different things on design. So thank you very much for the contributions. So I think it's a very diverse group and very diverse conference. So thank you very much. And then have a good evening for everyone. So tomorrow we will continue. So we will have really interesting examples of STEAM education in Austria. So we will show lots of very interesting topics, including the Ministry of Education, which is very good. So it's a part of our project to promote in this kind of STEAM policy. And then also we are very fortunate that we will have the director of the Ars Electronica Center here, which is then the kind of future laboratory of technology and learning and science. And then he also leading the European Space Agency educational program here in Austria and in Eastern Europe. So he will give a really fascinating presentation. And then also Ars Electronica is organizing one of the big technology and arts festivals here. So usually we have more than 100,000 people coming to Linz for the Ars Electronica Festival every year. So it will be very interesting day tomorrow. And then in the afternoon, we will have a more closed session with the ministry and then with many other policymakers. So I think this kind of transdisciplinarity is coming to us soon, and then it's very good that many of you are contributing to this new approaches to education, and I think this is how change will come. So thank you very much for everyone for all the contributions.